2021 will probably go down in financial history as the year of the meme stocks. So I thought let's do an update on AMC. Incredible year recently, or in June, traded as high as through $70. And here we are with the stock trading above 45 at the moment. So take a look at it and see what can we expect for the rest of the year. Further gains, or actually is all the excitement already over? I often say with these so-called meme stocks, they're hard to call. In terms of volatility, clearly the volatility can be off the charts at some point. But I thought it would be interesting to look at some of the recent news around AMC, then come back onto the chart and take a look at things in a bit more detail. The initial surge was back in early 2021 when it touched $20. Then it went fairly sideways and flat until May, June of this year, and surged once more. We have seen something of a gradual recovery over the last couple of months once again. So I thought, let's take a look at some of the recent news. Then I'll come back onto this and take a look at the charts and the technicals in a bit more detail. Hello, I'm David Jones from Capital.com. And I thought on our stocks channel, we'd take a look at clearly what's been a really popular stock this year amongst retail investors, and that's AMC Entertainment. Loads of volatility. You saw some of it there on the charts. We'll take a look in a bit more detail in a second. But as usual in this video, I'll talk a bit about the recent news, what's been driving it, the levels to watch. Then we'll go on to the charts and look at the technicals in a bit more detail. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, if you could click on subscribe, it does help support the channel. It means we can continue to push out lots of different content on different stocks throughout the week. Right, let's get into it and take a look at AMC in a bit more detail. So just in case you're not sure what the company does, it's an American cinema chain. It's the largest chain in the world. And the stock has had something of a wild year this year. Lots of coverage. End of January, the stock touched $20, and that was from being at $2 at the start of the year. And this was really the emergence of the whole Reddit Wall Street Bets short squeeze attempt. So the popular online forum, Wall Street Bets, on the Reddit website, we're looking at stocks that had lots of short interest. So lots where companies had basically bet against the company and were expecting it to slide. And then by doing a concerted buying effort, the hope was as it pushed the stock up, these companies, these funds would be forced to cover their shorts to buy the stock back and drive it higher. And we saw that. GameStop, of course, was another one. But AMC went from $2 to $20 in January. But that wasn't the end of it, because again, in June of this year, we saw it touch $72. So another surge again in June. And more recently, we've seen some strength again as well. I would say, I think I often say when we look at some of these so-called meme stocks, for me, they're quite difficult. I think for anybody, they're probably quite difficult to call where the next few weeks, next few months is going to be. You compare it to something like Apple or Microsoft or even Tesla. I think we have much smoother trading, but very much news and event-driven stocks, these. So expect volatility if you're in them. The company used the rise in its stock price to raise funds from share sales, and it said it was going to use that to ride out the downturn in its business that it suffered since the pandemic. Of course, cinema chains took a massive hit when we saw various economies around the world in lockdown and various businesses shut. Not surprising, cinemas were a big casualty of the pandemic over the last 18 months or so. But we have seen it push higher again more recently. One of the reasons, Disney, Walt Disney Business, the massive entertainment conglomerate, announced that it would release its upcoming films exclusively in cinemas. We had seen film companies releasing latest blockbusters straight to streaming because, of course, people couldn't go out. But Disney's saying that it's going to push them through cinemas, first of all, exclusively. Clearly hopes that we'll see more footfall at various cinemas. Not surprising, AMC stock got a bit of a bump from that. The company also expanded on its plans to take cryptocurrencies, saying it'll take other cryptocurrencies as well as Bitcoin by the end of this year for payment, for going to the cinema and other things. So again, I think whenever we see, we've seen it with Tesla perhaps earlier this year when Elon Musk said that Tesla would start taking Bitcoin, that does generate some excitement for the stock. And again, we've seen that in AMC. But let's just take a step back here, away from all the meme stock excitement and the big jumps in the stock that we've seen. The cinema sector as a whole has been in decline for the last couple of decades or so. It's a tough industry. Plenty of people now won't go out. They'll stream stuff at home, so it's been a business that's been in decline. So is the longer term outlook for AMC actually going to be negative when all this excitement dies down, if it hasn't died down already? Have we already seen the best for the stock price of AMC? Or actually, is there still the potential for another short squeeze? And I think there are so many unknowns. This is why I say, we have to expect further volatility for the price. I must admit, I would be leaning towards thinking perhaps the best is over. Are we really going to see the stock back at those $72 levels from June? But let's talk about the levels to watch. Then we'll go on and look at the technicals. I think the next hurdle on the upside, the highs from mid-September coming in at 52.80. After that, we've got a later June high at $65. So these levels are quite far apart because the stock has been so volatile. Then there's a lot of support in the sort of 39 to 43 area, 43.75, the 15th of September lows, then 39.30 from the end of August. So we do have definite support. And I think the stock is in a short to medium term uptrend anyway, but let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the charts. So let's get started with AMC. I would start with, I think, the usual disclaimer for some of these incredibly volatile stocks, that it can be, I think, difficult to apply sensible technical analysis to it. We've looked at stocks like Microsoft and Apple in recent weeks, and clearly these have clear longer term trends. Whereas AMC, for example, much more news and event driven. But I thought, well, let's start things off with our moving average. So 20-day moving average on the chart here. Buy signals when the price moves above the moving average, like we had back here in May of this year. Clearly that did well because the stock went up about sevenfold in the end from where it crossed through the moving average. Then a sell signal like here in early July when the price fell below the moving average. It's not done a bad job, really, of calling the turns. The latest signal was the 23rd of August when the stock opened through about $35. So that was the moving average, the 20-day moving average back then. You can see in recent days, it's interesting. We can often see this in trends where the market comes back and the moving average can act as almost like a floating support or resistance. And that's definitely the case over the last few days for AMC. So from a moving average point of view, it's saying the trend is up, still looks positive. We'll see how much further it could run from it. If we take a look at the RSI down here, again, in strong trending markets, like if we went back here to May, overbought, oversold indicators like RSI aren't very good because they reach an extreme far too quickly. So the RSI in May went overbought when the price was trading around $17. And of course, it carried on to $70 plus after then. So the usual disclaimer again with the RSI. We've had a couple of pushes near overbought in recent weeks, the 24th of August here. Then again on the, the 13th of September. It did a reasonable job, I think, in calling the top for AMC, a short-term top, I should say, for AMC. But we still do have this recovery going on from the August low. So, for now, that recovery trend is still intact. So as a trend follower, I think plenty of people would still be thinking about potentially buying the dips. Let's take a look at that trend in a bit more detail. So this is where subjectivity comes into play, I think, because if we took the trend off the lows at the beginning of August, it looks something like this. The trend line's coming in around $34. So, that trend is clearly up. The stock at the moment is a long way away from that trend line in percentage terms. But if we picked up on the sharper trend, then that looks like that. And we've had over the last couple of days or so, we've seen the price break through the trend line. So that sharper trend, which started towards the end of August, the 20th of August, does look that it's in trouble. Some may take the view it's over because the price has broken through the trend line. But I'd say, broadly speaking, with AMC, we still have a succession of higher highs and higher lows. And I think it does attract, I think, clearly it's a significant portion of shorter term traders as well. And from a short term trading point of view, I think one of the levels I would be watching would be the lows here from the end of August, around $42. We can see the price came back and tested it again a couple of times. It's interesting that in the last couple of days, the stock has moved as low as 43 and we've seen the buyers come back out. So from a short term trader's point of view, I think 42 to 43 has proved to be fairly good support. So it'll be interesting to see if we can recover over the next few days from here. But from a medium term point of view, let's go back to the charts. That moving average is positive. The stock has traded up to its best levels, hitting them in the middle of September, best levels since the beginning of July. So it does seem to have momentum on its side. We've got a real problem area running from 60 to around $65 for AMC. But for now, that recovery trend from August is still going. Perhaps we'll see a few more gains from here over the next few weeks, next couple of months. But without a major event happening, it's difficult to see it getting back up to those all-time highs based on what we have in front of us at the moment. But as we know with these meme stocks, things can change very quickly and expect volatility. That's it for the update in AMC. We will see how the rest of the year pans out. As I say, expect volatility. I'm not quite sure how high we'll see the stock go from here, but we'll come back, we'll do an update. But for now, from me, David Jones and Capital.com, we'll leave things there. Good luck with your investing.
For more trading videos just like this, please subscribe to our channel.